What's going on, Cowboys Nation? It's your boy Fus the King. All you good Cowboys fans out there, yo, let me get my phone. What's today's date? July 13th. Today is July 13th, which means we're like legit 7 days away from rookies going to training camp, and I think what's that? What's 7 times 4? 7 plus 4. 11 days from actual practice and actual football things happening. It's an exciting time because you know it's bad when I'm doing NBA Summer League videos. Nonetheless, I'm trying to do all things sports. Thank you guys for rocking. Thank you guys for subscribing. Let's get right into it. This is going to be a good show. Send it out to Cowboys fans. Let me know what you guys think. I got some hot takes in here. And basically just looking over, I got my notes. You guys know I'm big on notes. I'm just looking over the Dallas Cowboys 2017 training camp battles. And it's what I wrote down right here. And let's talk about the defense and looking over the defense. And you had so many things happen this offseason. You had a draft. And we had a draft where we targeted a position group. And we targeted our secondary. And then things are happening like Nolan Carroll's driving on the wrong side of the road. And, you know, Damian Wilson is, you know, pulling out his gun at firework events. Nonetheless, I don't want to harp on those things, but they do affect these battles. They do affect the depth chart, and I'm going to get into all of that. Corners, linebackers, and safeties. Let's talk about it, and, of course, our D-line. Let's talk about it. So let's start with our safeties. And the battle for me to watch is who's going to start opposite of Byron Jones. And it's not just who's going to start opposite of Byron Jones, but how is the rotation going to look? Well, now, with the Nolan Carroll situation happening, will the Cowboys feel so good or so safe with really moving Cheeto back to safety? Because if you guys have been paying attention to me and on the shows that I've been on, you know, I'm doing a weekly show with Voch Lombardi. I'm doing a show with Law Nation. We're talking about Cowboys. We're talking about the NFC rivalries right now. And we're just talking about all things Cowboys football. And, of course, my man Joe Rod and Cowboys Huddle. So shout out to those YouTubers. But my whole thing has been like, yo, could Cheeto really be a safety? Does he have the instincts? Well, if you look at his tape and you look at his highlights and you kind of see what he does well, come up, tackle, see ball, very physical player, a bigger corner, like 207, stands stout. Just a physical guy. He has the tools to play safety, and he did it. He played a lot of nickel in college. And for those of you who don't know nickel, I wrote it down, and it's a term that it kind of may go over, you know, the common fan's head. Nickel is when basically you're going to take out a linebacker for another defensive back. And the reason why teams are playing, like, say, so our base defense is a 4-3, and we run that Tampa 2. That's like what Rod Marinelli's known for, Tony Dungy, the coaching tree, all of that. Well, we run that Tampa 2. Well, because teams are going to more 3-wide sets, teams aren't in 12 personnel like the Cowboys. Teams aren't just lining up and trying to run the ball or just running that 2-wide receiver, you know, a fullback and a running back set. Now you're going to need another defensive back on the field who can cover and also come up and make a tackle along with your 2 safeties. This is where Cheeto could flourish. But with the Nolan Carroll suspension, does this give Cheeto an opportunity to really lock in that corner? But nonetheless, what is our safety rotation going to look like? Is the battle between Cheeto and Jeff Heath. Week 1, I'm guessing, through training camp, if everything pans out, I'm guessing that the 2 starters will be Byron Jones and Jeff Heath going out there against the Giants. Jeff Heath would probably have to lose this job more than like the rookies could win it, because Jeff Heath has been in the system. He'll get the opportunities, and it's going to probably be so hard for him or for any of the rookies to quote-unquote make plays in preseason. Nonetheless, if injuries happen or if, you know, for some reason Jeff Heath is just getting double moved left and right, they could do something about that. And who's the odd man out? Jamil Showers is an odd man out. Blanton. And then you're thinking about X Woods. X Woods is actually the X factor because he has some cover ability, but he will come up and stick you. So now it's just going to be about how fast can Xavier Woods pick up the NFL speed of the game, and how fast does he see it? Does he see it and go? Because at the safety position, you know, translating from La Tech to the Dallas Cowboys, you got to be, as Jeff Heath, his rookie year, it was a major transition. So that's the safeties. Let's talk about the corners. Locks are obviously going to be A.B., Cheeto, Jordan Lewis, who I really want to get into, and Orlando Scandrick. Nolan Carroll is probably going to be on a bubble now because his contract isn't one that you can't get rid of. Like, you're not married to Nolan Carroll's contract. So if one of these corners come in and they can survive on the outside, i.e. a Jordan Lewis, who to me may have the best coverability out of all of them, including Scandrick, and can really make plays on the football. If one of these guys, like Nolan Carroll, really just opened the door for one of these young kids to solidify a spot. You're thinking about, and then, other guys down the depth chart, Marquez White, who is a draft pick, but I'm thinking because we're so deep at that position and we targeted that position with X Woods, with Marquez White, like that's going to be the battle to see who makes it on the team and who probably gets snuck to the practice squad. So my outside corners, starting up, lining up, maybe Nolan Carroll week 1 in training camp. But those battles, man, I'm telling you, can AB survive on the outside? I think that he can. A lot of guys like him inside. I think he can do both. But to me, I like him on the outside. I like Scandrick inside. But now you have this conundrum of, is Cheeto going to be outside? Is he going to be inside? Like, there's going to be is he going to be playing, a little free? Is he going to be battling with Jeff Heath? Is he going to be our nickel safety? What's going to be what? And now you're thinking about, who is Jordan Lewis going to kick inside, Scandrick outside? So there's going to be so much shuffling. What do you guys think on this one? Help me out when it comes to corners because it's a lot. Jordan Lewis can cover slot very well. And because of his size, like if Jordan Lewis was like an inch taller, 2 inches taller, he'd be a perfect lockdown corner. But the league has went to this trend. A perfect outside lockdown corner. But the league is on this trend of bigger corners. And not every big corner can play. Not every big corner drafted is going to be Richard Sherman. Nonetheless, that's what the NFL is looking for right now. Big, physical corners. I think that Jordan Lewis is physical. I think Jordan Lewis has great quickness. Like his feet, ball, see ball, go get ball, see ball, knock ball down is amazing. One thing you think about with this not an exodus, but with this overhaul, where we got rid of Church, Carr, Wilcox, all of these guys, Claiborne, we just didn't get the ball. None of those corners had a knack for the ball. Kept everything in front, kind of kept things vanilla, but none of them really got the football. We didn't turn teams over. When we needed to play against Green Bay, nobody got their hand in there to knock it down, and Jared Cook is freaking toe tapping, and he just won an ESPY for that. So that's what I'm looking for from my corners. Let's go to linebackers. So Damian Wilson was a guy who I thought could really make a leap, and I called him Jalen Smith Insurance. Well, Damian Wilson, I'm almost guaranteeing that I will guarantee that the league is going to suspend him for 4 games for this foolishness. And if it's me, he will be off the team. I already told you can't brandish a weapon. I don't know all the details, but it's just foolishness regardless of what Cowboys fans may try to say or try to cop for him. It's just something you can't do, and it's ridiculous. That being said, Sean Lee, now a lot of weight is going to be on Jalen Smith's shoulders. And this is a guy who's basically, this is his rookie year. He has to get his feet wet. He's going to be on a pitch count. So who's going to step up? Is it a Mark Nasacha? Mark Nasacha can play, always hurt. Is it one of the younger guys? Is it, we're going to have to go back to Anthony Hitchens, who, like, he's damned for just being a consistent player. Ever since his rookie year when we went to the playoffs, Anthony Hitchens has just been a good, solid linebacker. We're going to definitely have to keep Sean Lee on the pitch count because we know his injury history. The linebackers, that's going to be one of the major stories to watch. Like, this defensive side of the ball has so many stories, so many camp battles to watch because Sean Lee's health is going to not have him on the field as much. So which linebacker out of the flux, out of Watcha, out of Damian Wilson, who's annoyed me, out of Jalen Smith, who's going to come up and just take that position? James Morris. These are all guys. Kyle Wilber's still on the team, but now because we're going to be in more because we're going to be in more nickel, Cheeto's role is going to affect Kyle Wilber's role. If we're only playing base 20%, 30%, Why do you need a weak side linebacker like Kyle Wilber on the team who can do other things, but he's not great at it? I really like him at weak. So it's going to be a lot, especially with our linebacking core. But we still have Sean Lee. We still have the general. I think will be good there. But it's just those are battles to watch. Like, who's going to take that middle linebacker? Because I really want Sean Lee at weak. Let Jalen, let one of these other guys really just... So very weirdly, my video got cut off. But nonetheless, I was speaking about which linebacker, who's going to take over the reins for Sean Lee. We want it to be Jalen Smith. That's who I'm thinking it can be. But, you know, these are some of the questions that need to be answered. Let me get back to my notes, too. Because I don't even know why I put them up. So, and then let's talk about D-line. Now, when you're talking about the D-line, this is where we got to ask some questions. So, who's going to play left? Who's going to play right? Who's going to be our speed guy? Is it going to be a Benson Mayowa? Came on late, got benched early. Is it going to be a Taco Charlton? We'll see in training camp that they're going to match up Taco with Tyron just to get him ready. We got to have this kid ready. Now, speed rushing, and even though he did have a great sack number, speed rushing isn't really his thing. He's not a sack guy, but he's more or less of just a gamer. JPPS can affect the game in different ways. Is very stout against the run. That's what you like. He's not one of these situational guys. He won't give up much against the run. So we hit the linebackers. Now we're on D-line, and we're talking about how does this all match? How does this all mix? Well, Malik Collins is your guy at the 3. The D-line and the D-end situation will work itself out. What happens with a Tyrone Crawford? Is Tyrone Crawford expendable? Is he a guy that we can get rid of? To me, with Tyrone Crawford being so position flex-esque, with him having so many positions, he doesn't have one. He got a bunch of money, 3rd-round pick out of Boise State, but I won't say he's been a disappointment. Like, before the contract, he was here, and now after the money, he's here. So we got to see what Crawford is. Malik Collins is your 3, period. 5 sacks at the 3 technique. He's perfect for what Rob Marinelli likes to do, so he's your 3. So we'll see what happens moving forward. With all of this, we're going to be able to this training camp is going to be so key defensively because our defense is the missing piece to us really taking that step to Super Bowl contending status. Team speed, we're trying to improve on physicalness, and we're trying to just improve on making plays. Yards may be up, but we have to make plays. We have to intercept the ball, turn the ball over. Let's see if we can do that. It's your boy, Fitz the King. Like, share, subscribe. Send this video around. I'm going to do the offense next week. Before you know it, we'll be at camp. I'll be doing videos every day, doing a bunch of content. Peace.